bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Hey now. Wow. Little coffee just came out of my nose. Right onto the microphone. Yeah. You know I'm there when that happens. What's up, everybody? It's Thursday, Fade to Black. Dancing in the studio to Space Boy. Ain't nothing like it. That's right. This is truly bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Thursday, June 9th, 161 days into the new year, 205 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I'd like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, nose filtered, back and forth, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I am your oh-so-humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? It's Thursday. Tonight is Fadernight. Let's do this. Open lines. Jon Rappoport at the bottom of the hour with his No More Fake Newsroom. The call-in number tonight is 323-825-5045. How you doing? Man, I love it when we get to Thursday. I do. All right. For all the new listeners out there that are dialing in tonight, Thursday night is Fader Night. And what we do tonight is open up the phone lines. And also on Thursdays, we have Jon Rappoport in here, one of the best reporters in the world. And he comes in every Thursday night to shake things up. He'll be here at the bottom of the hour at 7:30. And give us his No More Fake Newsroom. Lots of stuff to talk about tonight. I just got off the phone with Jon. And some Thursdays, everybody, I'm just going to let you know. I call up Jon. Right? Hey, Jon, you ready? Yep. All right, Jimmy, tonight I'm going to... No, don't want to know. I don't want... He just laughs. Tonight, I know where he's going tonight. I cannot wait until Jon gets in here. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. It's an interactive show. And especially on Thursday nights, things really light on fire. And where's Mark Dunbar? I haven't seen Mark all day today. Is he? I'm going to scroll through here. Where's Dunbar? Somebody go get Dunbar in here. Can't have a show without Dunbar. I'll shut this mother down right now. Trust me. Get Dunbar in here. All right. So anyway, follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Use the hashtag F2B. That is the sandbox. Come and hang out with us. Any questions for myself during the show tonight? Oh, I love Twitter. Twitter, We use TweetDeck, right? And for those out there, the uninitiated, TweetDeck is a program by Twitter. It's it's a real program. It's called TweetDeck, and it's really what Twitter is all about. It's kind of funny how you have the normal Twitter interface. It's boring. TweetDeck is where it's at. So if you don't have it, just go over to Twitter, download TweetDeck, and then get it going. If you need some help with it, come on over, hashtag F2B, ask any of the Fadernauts, and they will walk you through it. It's very simple, and once you get it set up, that's it. You just click and turn it on, and it runs itself. It's amazing. So anyway, TweetDeck is flying off to my left right now, unless I got to scroll back. Let me look at this GIF. That's pretty. That's exactly what happened right before the show started. All right. Yeah, somebody, spitting milk out through his nose. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can also email Jimmy at jimmychurchradio.com throughout the show tonight. Use the hashtag F2BQ, Fade to Black questions, F2BQ. If you have anything that you'd like to say directly to me, I'll see that, and or any questions throughout the show. All right, and Les I'm going to say this really quick. Les just said, everybody's got lots of pictures from Contact in the Desert. Let's get them posted tonight. I do. I want to see them. And I only took, believe it or not, I only took like 10 pictures all weekend. My phone was in idle mode. I didn't take pictures. You guys have all the pictures. And Rita, of course. Les just sent me a large file, and I was all excited. He sends me this thing in Dropbox. Oh, man, okay, cool. It's nothing but me signing pictures. Man, Les, I thought there was going to be some good stuff there. I don't need to see those, but I posted one anyway. Thank you, Les, for doing that. Very cool. All right. So that's it. It is Fadernight. Support the show by supporting our sponsors. This is America. That's how it works. I saw this post the other day. Jimmy, over here in Europe, I swear this is what it said. Over here in Europe, we don't care about your tax sponsor. Can you please pull that down? I was like, what? Yeah, we'll get right on that. We'll get right on that. Yeah, we'll stop all advertising for Europe. Doesn't make any sense, does it? Life Change Tea, that ships to Europe, I would assume, right? Studio Dome speakers, those ship to Europe or anywhere else. Canada, Australia, right? Man, come on, man. It's a new world. It's small. One of the things that I find amazing, back when not so much air travel, with props, with propellers, DC-3s, right? I'm not talking about that. When the jet age happened, not cruise liners, no trains, no. When jets started and the commercial airline industry kicked off, the world shrunk. It did, if you think about it. Now you could fly somewhere for a day and get business done and fly back, fly over to Europe, fly back, fly to Japan, fly back, fly to Australia, fly back. The world got really, really small. And it was just an amazing thing. But with the internet, it got dinky. I mean, dinky. You can communicate with anybody in real time. And I'm not sharing any revolutionary information here. I'm just saying the world is small now. Think about that. All right. Life Change Tea. Go click on the banner right now. Support our sponsors. Oh man, I got the refresh package from Ronnie. Oh man, I know that this month is going to be good. Now that I have my Life Change Tea package, it's here. So go and click. You can use Jimmy, the promo code, JIMMY, why when you order, either over the phone or online. Go to the specials page, forgetthetea.com, and order. That's how you support the show. Support yourself. Studio Dome, same thing. It's amazing how Studio Dome supports us, and Life Change Tea supports the show. It allows the broadcast to continue every single day. And that system, 2 SBB2 speakers, power, hard shell case, wireless, true wireless stereo Bluetooth technology for just $129. Go do it now. JCRTWS is the promo code you use at checkout. All right. Coming up next, the Roswell Festival, which is June 30th through July 3rd in Roswell, New Mexico. We will be broadcasting live from the Roswell Museum Friday night. And I think it's on the, I was talking to the Roswell people this week, and it's a 1 hour difference. So, the show time is the same here on the West Coast, 7 to 10, but we'll be broadcasting from 8 to 11 in New Mexico. Yeah, it kind of threw me off when they were talking. I was like, what? Oh, yeah, okay. I get it. Same time, nothing changes. When you go and look at the schedule on the Roswell's museum's website, when you go and look at that, it says 8 to 11. It's 7 to 10 Pacific time. But it's going to be great. Don Schmidt, Tom Carey, Travis Walton, Stanton Friedman's going to be there, Daryl Sims. So go and check it out. The links are there. And then right after that, the Awareness Life Expo up at the Crown Plaza Hotel, Sacramento, California, August 13th through the 14th. Let's get this show cracking. I'm ready. Oh, man. Phone call's going to be coming in. So, hey, where's Mark? I don't see Dunbar here. Somebody go hit Dunbar up. I'll shut this show down. I'll give him 15 more minutes. He'll be here. I feel naked without Mark. It's just weird. It's not clicking Mark to my left. Today, Johnny Depp is 53 years old. Michael J. Fox is 55. Our dead guy's birthday today. Les Paul, 1915 to 2009. Died at the age of 94. Yeah, he was a guitarist, a good guitarist, and an inventor. He pioneered the solid body electric guitar, of course. The Gibson Les Paul is one of them. Multi-track recording. He influenced what would become not only rock and roll, but virtually all modern music. Without him, did I just hiccup? I hiccuped. Influencing everything. All modern music. Without multi-track recording, without him doing that, I'm sure the idea would have come eventually, but without him doing that and getting that done, think about it. Beyonce couldn't do her voice correcting multi-track. Oh, I like Beyonce. He also had a number one hit, How High the Moon. I'm going to share a story really quick with Les Paul, and I was in New York and at a conference out there, and it was New York. It was New York because he was playing in Manhattan that night. That's right. So it was New York, and I had lost my voice, and I went through like 2 days of not being able to talk. And I'm whispering, and he says to me, we talked for about an hour that day, and he reaches in his pocket at the beginning of the conversation and says, "Dude, this is what you need. You'll get your voice back right away." And he takes out some Ricolas, the commercial, right? Ricola, right? Whips it out, breaks the thing in half, and hands me like 4 Ricolas, and I take one. He's like, "Do it right now." And I take one, and by the end of the conversation, about an hour later, I got my voice back. And he was like, "Dude, see, I told you." I'm like, this stuff is magic. Well, I went out and bought Ricola that day, and I got my voice back. But this is the cool part. I took the other two, and I saved one. And over at the house, in a drawer, one of my prized possessions is my Les Paul Ricola. I think it's like 25 years old. That happened back in like 1995 or 96. It was, 20 years ago. And but I still have it. It is truly one of my prized possessions. Every time I see it, I just think of that man. There you go. Happy birthday, Les Paul. On this day in history in 1993, the now infamous Madam to the Stars, Heidi Fleiss, is arrested in a sting operation run by the Los Angeles and Beverly Hills Police Departments and the United States Justice Department. Where is Heidi Fleiss today? She's still around. Oh, that was a crazy time in Los Angeles, no doubt. 1993. Wow. Hard to believe it was that long ago. Fader fact. The Catholic Church had a list of banned books until 1966, one of which was Les Miserables. And that is a Fader fact. Tonight is Open Lines. Jon Rappoport with his No More Fake Newsroom. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. John will be with us here in a few short minutes. But check this out. Got this story today. I'm going to share this with you. And I'm going to hit this coffee because you're about to be floored. Check this out. Who or what is behind 4 gruesome murders in the Doll Cemetery? Have you heard about this? The murders have remained unsolved since 2013. No updates, nothing since then. But the story has developed a reputation as one of the all-time scariest doll-related mysteries, with direct parallels to the infamous Island of the Dolls in Mexico. The location is a small valley where little to no vegetation has grown for decades. Instead of living and growing things, the land seems to yield a nightmarish crop of once lifelike objects, specifically dolls. Dolls of every shape, size, and form. We're talking about cracked porcelain antiques, threadbare rag dolls, yarn dolls, mass market plastic baby dolls, Barbies, and other fashion dress-up figures. Every kind of doll seems to have gone there to die. Most of these are not merely strewn across the barren ground, but instead are nailed to dead tree branches. Some are mutilated and dismembered, or tied to rocks and stumps. Some were partially buried, their blank, pale faces peering out from the desolate earth. No one knows when the first doll was left there, who did it, or why. But somehow it evolved into a local tradition, with children throughout the surrounding communities discarding their unwanted dolls in the area. But despite this long-running custom, the children were also warned not to go near the doll cemetery after dark. Not for any specific reason. It's just that there was something about the place that felt wrong. The doll cemetery actually had a caretaker of sorts. There was this old guy, an elderly, homeless hermit type of guy who lived in an abandoned shack in the midst of the valley. While nobody there actually gave him that job, it just seems like he took it very seriously and watched over the dolls day and night. The locals didn't even know his name and didn't really want to know, actually, until the day something very bad happened. 3 local teenage girls, all of them classmates and close friends, failed to show up at school. Their respective families first suspected that they were playing hooky from their classes, but they just disappeared. And after all three failed to return home, the neighborhood began to panic, as they should. The police were alerted, investigations commenced, search parties were formed, and before long, attention turned to the old man in the Doll Cemetery. And the rumors and murmurs and whispers of suspicion about his weird behavior and the way that he acted quickly twisted into claims that he was a child molester. And you know how neighborhoods go, right? Well, the locals became increasingly agitated as the days wore on without any further clues about the girl's disappearance. And despite the lack of evidence against the caretaker, including the fact that no one had ever even seen him come into town, they became convinced that he was somehow responsible. And a small group of men, lynch mob, took matters into their own hands. They marched down. They arrive at the Doll Cemetery to discover what they thought was their most horrible nightmarish fears. They had come true, but not in the way that they expected. At the edge of the valley, they found the first of the three missing girls, her arms seemingly open in welcome. She was tied to a dead tree, and her head was dangling on a broken neck. The second girl was found halfway down the valley, leaned against a rotten tree trunk, her face obscured by her own blood, and upon closer examination, she had been partially mutilated. Her ears had been ripped from her head. The corpse of the third missing girl was found thrown to the ground, directly in front of the caretaker's shack. She was all twisted, face down. I've seen the picture. It's crazy. Her limbs all askew. She was in a puddle of her own coagulated blood. Her face and neck were covered with tiny round lesions, which, upon closer examination, looked like bites. But they didn't resemble bug or animal bites or anything. They seemed to have been caused by tiny human mouths. There was a horrible smell emanating from the hermit's tiny shed, which was right in front of her. They kicked down the front door, and inside was a fourth corpse. It was the old man. His body had been horrifically mutilated in the same manner as the third girl, and had apparently been decomposing for weeks. The murder mystery is still being investigated by police, but as of today, the case remains unsolved. I want to thank Gregory Burkhardt for this report. Thanks, Greg. Amazing. Kind of creepy, isn't it? Yeah. Tonight's Fadernight, folks. Thursday night, open lines all night long. 323-825-5045. In a few short minutes, we'll have Jon Rappoport in here. You can follow Jon at Jon Rappoport, and you can follow me at JChurchRadio. Now, I want to comment really quick about what happened yesterday. I talked about this with Bernie and Hillary and Donald, right? But today, Bernie made his trip to the White House. And all of the open defiance and everything else. And, you know, we're going to run this thing through. And we're going to finish up in D.C., the last primary of the season. Then we're going to head over to Philadelphia. And we're going to close this thing out and so forth. And I was looking at the math and everything. I mean, it's done, right? It's over. The campaign for him is done. Why stay defiant? And I had said that he wants to keep his platform alive. And he doesn't want everything that he stood for to go away. I get that. I understand. There's another thing going on in this bizarre world of a campaign year with the Republican and the Democratic parties and everything that is happening right now. That if and it goes on both sides. Everything that went down with the Republicans, we got to unify the party. We've got to do this, right? We've got to defeat the Democrats. We've got to, that's it, 8-year run in the White House. We've got to do this. And so, in the end, they did what they had to do. But on the other side, with the Democrats, it was the same thing going on over there, wanting to run this into the convention and not unify the party because, quite frankly, they've got issues in the national campaign that's about to kick off. So what is Bernie actually doing? Why didn't he take his foot off the gas pedal and step off and go, okay, look, we've got the bigger picture here is not Hillary. The bigger picture is the Democratic Party and the future of the United States, I would think. But he stayed defiant up to the bitter end when he knew there wasn't any hope of anything a couple of months ago. And it was becoming more and more clear as the weeks passed. But anyway, so he goes and he meets Obama today. And he came out singing a different tune. He was in the White House for 1 hour. Now, I ask you, what went down in that conversation? What went down? Bernie's 75 years old. Right? 4 years from now, he's going to be 79. If he gets there, right? He's going to be 79. There isn't another run for him in the White House. So what was said to him today to get him to walk out and go, I'm supporting Hillary? And then Obama to come out and say that he's supporting Hillary and he can't wait to start campaigning. What went down in the White House? That was an interesting conversation. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. When I come back, that's right, Jon Rappoport's going to be here with his No More Fake Newsroom. This is Thursday night. It is Fadernight. 323-825-5045. We'll be taking your phone calls all night long. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Bespoke Radio for the masses on the Game Changer Network and KGRA. The planet. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I got to tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil 3-letter. So, seriously. Give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Health in America is becoming a top priority. Or maybe I should say, good health in the world is becoming a top priority. Maintaining a healthy body can be challenging. How about letting Life Change Tea help you? Our tea you make, you drink, and you benefit. Our unique blend of 8 different herbs helps you maintain good digestion, a healthy colon, and detoxes harmful toxins and parasites out of your body. And you know what? It tastes great. If you're wanting a change, a life change when it comes to health, log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. When you log on to our mobile-friendly website, you can read all the numerous testimonies of how Life Change Tea has helped so many people. We carry many, many beneficial products that help your health and keep you on track. GetTheTea.com. Kind of gets in your head, doesn't it? GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fadernauts rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
And now, coming to you from the No More Fake Newsroom in Deep Space, which is the space that we suspect to be true. That the world, as it is fed to us every single day by the Ministry of Truth, is a lie, a false reality, a movie projected on the screen of our subconscious. This, however, is the breakout. All of the screens crash. They all go down and we see the light of day, a new day. No more robots, no more androids. It's the No More Fake Newsroom with Jon Rappoport. Take it away, John.
Thanks, Jimmy. Well, this is one of those nights. They happen once in a while. I'm just stepping off the cliff into space. I had a few pieces I was going to cover, and then I said, no, I don't want to do that. I want to talk about something else. So I scribbled down a few notes, and I'm just going to take a ride here with you folks and talk about alternative states of consciousness. This is in part based on work that I did with a close friend and colleague named Jack True, a hypnotherapist in the late 80s and early 90s in Los Angeles. And Jack became a collaborator in much research that we did together about consciousness. And in my collection, The Matrix Revealed, I interview Jack 43 times, 320 pages, and that's only a piece of the conversations that I have transcribed among the two of us over the years. Jack had much to say. He stopped hypnotizing patients, by the way, because he said to me, the people that are now walking into my office are already hypnotized. So my job is to unhypnotize them. And that started a whole new phase in his research. And one of the things that he said to me once about that was, people have in their subconscious alternative futures. They are already there. They are sitting there. Not just one, but several. Pristine, new, pure, untapped, but they're all there. And through the last, I would say, maybe year or so, when he was doing hypnosis and he was phasing out of it, he came upon this fact. A patient, for example, had an entire future not just mapped out for himself, but could see it extremely vividly. And he said to Jack, this is more real than my real life. Far more real. What I'm looking at now as I sit here in your office with my eyes closed is far more detailed, vivid in terms of color, shape, dimension, space, etc., than the life that I'm living. Sort of like those dreams that you have when you wake up and you say, wow, that was more real than my waking life. That kind of thing. And so from a therapeutic point of view, what Jack discovered in working with these people was if he could get them to flesh out these futures, talk about them, look at them, realize that they were actually there to begin with through some subconscious process that they had engaged in over perhaps a very long period of time, kind of like stashing things away on a shelf, imagining them and then stashing them. Bring it out, bring it to the foreground, see it, realize it, talk about it, get it out there, discuss it. What happens? These patients' lives begin to change in significant ways. They have more energy. They have more excitement and thrill about living itself. They have more focus. Now, it's not necessarily the case with Jack and his patients that they would decide to follow one of these futures in their subconscious, but just bringing them out and looking at them revolutionized their lives. They began to feel more confident, more alert. In some cases, without even trying, physical problems would fade into the background and go away. It was a whole different life that they now entered into. So I said to him, well, why do you think that's true? I mean, what's the point here? What is the effect of bringing these alternative futures out into the open? He said, well, the first thing you have to realize is that they're there, sitting in the subconscious. And the second thing that you have to realize is that they lock up all kinds of vital life force. They lock it up, they inhibit it, they repress it, they keep it in a bottle, like a ship in a bottle. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that they realize, and this he underlined 1,000 times, that the way that these alternative futures got into their subconscious was through the process of their own imagination, at a level at which they weren't even aware. But nevertheless, patient after patient would come to that realization. Oh, the reason this is here is because I cooked it up in some way unknown to myself. Alternative futures embedded in the subconscious. Alternative futures for you. For what you could proceed into in your life. He called this paranormal. He didn't especially like the word, but he said, look, this is beyond just an interesting fact that these things are there. This is a form of projection, manifestation that has gotten derailed and put down below the level of consciousness in a human being. He said, we're all walking around with these. So imagine this. Thousands, millions, untold numbers of people walking around every day with this stuff hidden in their own subconscious, alternative futures that are vital, alive, real, desirable, energetic, electric, and nothing is being done about it. What does that do to a life? It's one great big dampening force that starts to make things feel fuzzy, passive, can't do this, can't do that, limited. That's the effect. That's what happens. These alternative futures are at least as real, to repeat myself, as the life or the lives we are leading. And when we come to that understanding, everything begins to change. So you mean maybe I could pursue the thing that is most desirable to me in my life, that I could actually do that? And that I could therefore revolutionize my consciousness, my excitement, my thrill, my ecstasy, my adventure, my pleasure, my reward in the activity of making this future come to pass in my life and the world? Yes, yes, yes. Time after time, patient after patient, this occurred. When he unearthed this in the subconscious of his patients. So I said to him at one point, so what you're saying is that these alternative futures are not simply ideas, thoughts, musings, reflections about what I would really like to do, that sort of thing. He said, absolutely not. He said, this goes way beyond that. This is like living in the future, except they aren't his patients, but they could be. He said, because, and we began to discuss a few cases, when the person decides, okay, now I'm going to take the reins in my hand and I'm going to pursue the future that I most profoundly desire, then, he said, that person is now living in the future. Boom. Living in the future. Not merely thinking about it or hoping for it, wishing for it, but in the process of actually working to make it real in the world for himself and others, the person is now skipping ahead in time. Skipping ahead in time. Time is not just tick, tick, tock, tock, tock. It is not just a serial series of moments. We think it is. We often live as if it is, but it's not. Time can be superseded. And he did several experiments with patients to illustrate this. In one case, for example, when he had a patient who was already launched, and I mean launched, in putting into effect the future that he truly wanted, when he went down into a light trance and a state of hypnosis in a session, he began to talk about this. It came to him like a thunderbolt. He said, I'm actually living there already, Jack. I have to make it come to pass because we live in a physical world, and therefore that's why we're here. Why are we here? To make certain things happen that we want to happen. But, he said, I'm already there. I can feel it. I can experience it. It's not just some offhand introspection on my part. I know that I'm there and that I'm out. I've slipped the bonds of time. Time is not the same for me anymore. I've jumped ahead. I'm into the future. And from that, let me extrapolate, and Jack and I had many conversations about this. Well, what about society? What about civilization? What about the world? The same applies. Could the population of this planet actually begin to live in the future? You bet. It could happen. Collectively, so to speak, we could, through our own individual efforts, begin to realize that we have a position ahead of the present in the future. And if enough people were there, we would begin to recognize each other, and we would begin to see that we are moving ahead in the future. Jimmy and I had a conversation. Some of you, I'm sure, heard our long discussion about imagination, maybe 10 days, 2 weeks ago. And one of the things I said was that there was a point in time in America when space and going into space was such a fascination and such a desire on the part of millions and millions of people that it could have been done. Civilization could have been changed in so many different ways, not the least of which would have been everybody works who wants to work. There's jobs for everybody. If somebody had come along and, let's say, for example, run for president somewhere in the years around the mid-70s to 1980 or so, when that was hot, and said, guess what, folks? We're going into space. This is what we all want, and that's what we're going to do. That's our future. Some of us are already living in that future, and the rest of us would certainly like to be there, and there's nothing holding us back. We can do it. So why not make that the foremost plank in the platform for the population of America and other countries? And let's all begin to envision this future, not because I say so or somebody else says so, but because underneath it all, among other things, that's truly what we all want. To appeal to an alternative future, a radically different future, space colonies, domed space colonies, exploration out beyond anything that's known. Everything that we now go to the movies for, watch certain shows for, to get that hit. Well, what is that hit? What is it? It's something that merges with what we already want. That's what magnetizes the whole thing. Do you think people would really go to see the initial opening of Star Wars if they didn't have already that desire to be out in space? You know, they would sit there in the theater and yawn and eat popcorn and fall asleep. It's not just what's on the screen. What's on the screen is just pictures, moving moments of pictures and sound. What gives it life is imagination plus desire, what everybody wants. And so it is for civilization. Many alternative futures. Now, then, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, have gone by the boards in many societies because they were not picked up. They were not pursued. Ours is not the only society and civilization where people have had far-reaching ideas that go beyond the normal, the average, the standard, the status quo, etc., etc. In every clan, tribe, society, civilization that's ever existed, there have been many, many people who saw beyond what was happening into an alternative future. And it went by the boards because it was never considered to be possible, important enough, or it could create too much freedom, yes. And then the people in power would feel that things were slipping out of their control. Yes, all of that. of course. But the overall effect was alternative futures went by the boards, and so it is coming back again to the individual. What happens in a life when someone kind of subconsciously mumbles to himself, well, this is what I really want. This is what I really want to do. This would be the greatest excitement of all. But, I can't really do that, or other people wouldn't understand, or any of the hundreds and thousands of excuses. Excuse me. And then that future goes by the boards. It just drips and drips and drips down into the subconscious, where it sits there like a ball of electricity. And as Jack discovered when he unearthed these in his patients, and they saw what was really there in full flower, their lives began to be revolutionized because they began to connect with desire, most profound desire, their own, not anybody else's, their own, their own, their own, their own, and their own. That was the key. And to see it there. And I can go back and I can see, and I'm sure you can too, in your past, moments when you felt you were on the edge of that. You were standing at the edge of the wind-swept cliff, looking out into space and seeing your future there, so present, so alive, that you were slipping the bonds of time and you were already living ahead in the future. And when we go back to those, we find fantastic inspiration, fantastic electric energy, focus, reason to be alive, reason to be alive. This is what society defaults on. And so we are, in fact, and every society and civilization eventually lives in a default picture of what they could be. The leftovers after every individual has said, oh, well, I can't really do that, or that. That is why societies decline. That is why civilizations decline. And Jack said to me in one of our last conversations, he passed away in the early 90s, he said, remember that. Remember what we're talking about here, because this is the future of the future. This is what the future of the future could be. This is getting off of what time seems to be, but really isn't, because the future is where we all want to be. That's where we see the best of ourselves, acting out the best of what we desire. That's where it is. And when it isn't there anymore, it just tumbles down the well into the subconscious.
Hey, John, let me jump in right there before we run out of time. Why is it that the vast majority of everyone is comfortable in not dealing with the future and staying in a false reality? Is it because they feel safe and they just don't want to, expand? Why is that? Because the change seems to be slow.
Yeah, the change is slow. Well, I think there's more than one reason, but one of the basic reasons is the person says to himself, well, what would happen if I really did this? If I really went for it? If I really began to build and invent the future that I truly want? And then other thoughts begin to crowd in. Negative thoughts. And then the person, it's like I would put it this way, Jimmy, it's like a contagion. You look around and you say, well, I don't see anybody else doing it.
Right, right.
So if I did it, I would stand out.
That's right. And it's kind of funny, and I hope somebody listens to what you and I are talking about right now, but there are so many out there that their most crazy thing that they will do all day is like put extra syrup on their pancakes. You know what I mean? And they're just getting rowdy. They've changed their normal thing, and that's as far. They'll put extra butter in between the pancakes. They're getting crazy instead of looking at the big picture. But to them, that's changing their routine. In what I mean? In a micro sense.
I do. Yeah, that's as far as they want to take it. But the thing is, standing out, and I now boil this down to about 20 seconds. In my experience, there's a funny thing when you stand out. At first, it may be uncomfortable, unpleasant. But if you just keep standing out, eventually what happens is people say, well, that's who he is.
Right.
They eventually say, well, there's nothing we can do about it. That's who he is. They may approve, they may not approve, or whatever, but they kind of go away. They don't hang around and keep harassing you. That's a fantasy. Because once they see that whatever negative stuff they might be able to bring out is not going to have any effect, then it's tiresome, boring, and they just kind of slither away. And there you are, and you're still standing out, and you say, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
So that's the kind of barrier you just have to get through to prove it to yourself. I'm still here. Hey, I can tell you from experience, I've been doing this reporting thing now, for example, since 1982. I'm still here. I'm not going away,
It's okay to do that. And just imagine if we all just stepped out of the box a little bit, all at the same time. Just a little bit, all at the same time. What kind of changes we could affect? It doesn't take much.
And we would notice it.
That's
I'll
right.
tell you, if we all did it at the same time, it would be like, I don't know what it would be like, but it would be, what just happened? We would be, what was that? What was that? Hey, wow, something just changed here. Wow, I feel different.
The Earth's rotation would slow down for a moment.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, John, thank you for all that you do, man, and we'll see you next Thursday, and we'll talk over the weekend.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All the best. Jon Rappoport, of course, his website is nomorefakenews.com. This is Fade to Black. Open lines next, 323-825-5045. Man, Jon Rappoport bringing it tonight. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Your call's next, 323-825-5045. This is Fade to Black. It's Fadernight.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of this product.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
To order your 2-month supply, call now toll-free 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you, and your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. It is Fadernight, Thursday. Open lines. Thank you, Jon Rappoport. NoMoreFakeNews.com. At Jon Rappoport, if you would like to follow him on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. This is Paul McDade from Charleston, South Carolina.
Hey, Paul. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I'm sorry I missed CITD, man.
Yeah.
It looked fantastic.
Yeah, you'll be there next year, you know. But this, we missed you. It would have been great to see you out there, and it was a pretty crazy weekend. Not only with the Fadernauts and the broadcast and the speakers and everything, but those sightings that we had Saturday and Sunday night were pretty extraordinary. So it really capped off what was already a pretty amazing weekend, but it was off the hook. But anyway, we'll see you next year. Go ahead.
I can only imagine. I just wanted to talk about something off topic, actually.
Sure.
I talked about this in the Spreaker channel. apparently, when I was 2 years old, I told my mother that I had told her that I had chose to be with my family. That God asked me if I wanted to be with my family, and I had chose my family. And now she told me that I had no clue who God was back then.
Okay.
I had never heard of the word God. And she told me that I told her that I wanted to be with my family, and I chose to be with my family. So I don't know if you know what that means, or if you can help me find somebody that knows what that means, but...
Yeah, turn me down in the background. I think you've got the... I think you're being thrown off by that in the background. But I'll say this, Paul. I'm not so sure. Maybe I don't know. But it sounds like she was trying to explain to you, to somebody that was so young, something that they probably wouldn't understand. I'll say this. I'm an adult now. I'm 52. And having that conversation with your mom at my age, I'm not even sure I would understand either. That's a tough conversation to have.
Well, I was 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She told me I had no clue what God was.
And that's what I'm saying. And I'm 52 now, and I still don't have a clue. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
yeah, we all don't understand what God is, but yeah, it's just I wanted to bring that up, and maybe somebody that
what
could.
Right. Well, let me ask you this: what did you mean about? What do you think you meant about your family?
Well, and it's weird. I had a vision, and I still have it in my head like it was a dream. As I was looking down on my family, and somebody had asked me, "Do you want to be with this family?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And then they just put me into it was like a void. It was like kind of like sleep, like what we call it now. They put me into that after I said yes, and then I woke up to the family that I have now.
Well, it sounds
from my
like
memory.
Yeah, you should go. You should shoot Lori McDonald an email or Holly Cook, and reach out to them. That's what I would do, Paul.
Okay.
All right. Hey.
Okay.
Paul, have a great night,
Yes,
brother.
Sir. Yes, sir. You too.
Thank you so much. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Would that be me?
Yes.
Jimmy, this is Rick Quest. I spent last weekend with you out in the desert.
And a good time it was, wasn't it?
Oh, my God. Unbelievable. Listen, I was on the AV crew with Matthew. I originally went out there looking for answers like a lot of people did. And I had the fortunate opportunity to talk with David Jacobs, who's done hundreds of regression therapies, and Lori McDonald.
Right.
And it looks like I might be hooking up with our friend Lori, driving out to, where's she, in Sacramento?
Yes.
But that's another story. You were in the Lotus Room, I think it was Saturday night, and I went in there, I caught your first half hour, and I wanted so badly to take over the engineering position in there, but I got called away to another room. Okay. Well, actually, I got called away to the amphitheater.
Right.
And they were playing Contact on those huge LED monitors. I don't think you got to see any of that.
No, I remember briefly. I saw pieces of the end of it because we ended. That was Friday night, and we wrapped at 10 o'clock, and I caught a few minutes of it because our room, our cottage was literally right in back of the amphitheater. So from our front patio, we were looking at the large screens over at the amphitheater.
Yeah. I was parked behind the amphitheater.
Yeah, you know where the mixing consoles were and everything in the back. Okay, if you turned around, you looked right at our cottage. That was us.
I know which one that was. I know what car was sitting out there. That was probably your car, kind of a pearly white Toyota.
No, that was the cottage next door.
Okay.
I know.
Well, listen, we were out there. There were like 300 close friends, and it was 80 degrees, and we're watching this awesome movie, Contact. And all of a sudden, someone says, and I think you were talking about, you had a sighting. You saw these guys with the laser up on top of this hill.
Right.
And someone said, look, are those UFOs? And, oh, no, those are airplanes. And no, man, they're not blinking. There's no red, there's no green blinking lights. So we're all watching this for 10 or 15 seconds, and they're not blinking, and they're flying in perfect triangle formation. And they get about in the northeast part of the sky, and they stop.
Yeah, that was Saturday night, and I missed that. That happened just before our sightings at the same location. And
yeah. I wasn't aware that you had seen that. I heard you saying something else about a green orb.
Right.
But I tracked all of this. I've got the times here because at 10:15 I called home and told my better half, Tina. I said, honey, there's something going on out here. There's 3 UFOs flying in formation. This triangle was kind of, if you take the one point and point that east, that's the way the triangle was going, pointing east. And then like 17 minutes later, the one, they look like stars. I mean,
Yeah.
But the one on the bottom right shifts, and like 27 minutes later, I've got this documented.
Right.
The other one shifts, and now they're a perfect triangle pointing up. And they stayed that way until about 12:30 when I finally had to crash because we were working hard and it was hot. And but the rest of the sky was like setting and revolving around it, and those 3 lights in that sky just permanently stayed there till 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it was an incredible night. If I hadn't seen it for myself and Rita, what was going on out there, I got to tell you, it's a life-changing experience. And what I'm so thankful for is that Rita and I weren't alone. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of witnesses to what was going on in the sky, and it was amazing. And I think we're going to be talking about this for a long, long time. What I saw, I can't explain. It wasn't anything that jumping on, it's a drone. It's a personal drone. Somebody's up there with Christmas lights on a drone or whatever. No, that's not what this was. And was it aircraft? No, it wasn't that either. So what was it? And it was definitely something that we all witnessed together, and we can feel safe in our own sanity that we weren't alone in what we saw in the skies that night, and we have all of us to support each other and the same exact descriptions have been coming in all over the place, and it's starting to hit the mainstream media. I was looking at a couple of reports out there today and comments about this. So, at least it was documented. When you have that many witnesses there, and we all know how high up they were. I mean, they were high high in the sky. And,
yeah, right.
And it was trippy, wasn't it? It was just.
But
amazing.
it was strange to see the rest of the stars and the rest of the sky set into the west, and this triangle is like still right there.
Yeah, totally.
It didn't move.
Yeah.
It only changed its formation like twice.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, is this the same area that you saw the green orb?
Yeah, the green orb was right there. I mean, about 100 yards down that road in front of our cottage was the lookout. It's called Orion's Lookout. It's a little cliff down there. And so, yeah, right there. Right there at the amphitheater, same area.
Wow.
Hey, Rick, I'm going to get to some more phone calls. Thank you for calling in, my brother.
Thank you, Jimmy.
I'll talk to you. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy.
Who's calling?
This is Fran.
Hey, Fran. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, I'm so glad that you mentioned Les Paul in the opening.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Did you hear about the new Les Paul Spirit Award?
No, I did not. What is it?
Okay, it's the first one that they've done. And you'll never guess who won.
I'm not, but who won?
Bob Weir.
You just had to go there, didn't you? Are you
Of
happy?
course.
Are you happy?
Yes, I'm very happy now that I got you on that one. But you mentioned him, and I went, okay, I am going to call and tell him.
Thank you so much, Fran. Yeah, have you?
Okay, that's all I wanted to do was just zing you again.
And you zinged me. Good for Bob.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah, I know. I was proud of him.
Thank you, Fran. Be safe.
You bet. Hi, you too. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, how's it going?
I'm going good. Who's this?
Hey, this is Sean, a.k.a. Resin Mage.
Hey, how are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. I just figured I better just go for it and call in tonight and just tell you how much I enjoy the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sean. And now, did you make it to contact?
You know what? I couldn't because I've been working, and to be honest, I got someone that I'm taking care of right now, so that wasn't in the cards for me this year.
But we'll see you next year for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, you know.
What do you think about this mass sighting out of Contact in the desert that went on for 2 nights? It was pretty insane.
Hey, man, I listened to it. You talked about it today on my podcast, and I got to tell you, that sounds pretty crazy, and I'm glad that you had some witnesses, and I'm pretty jealous, to be honest.
Sean, I'm going to be straight with you. I am just so happy that there was literally hundreds of people standing around me when Rita and I had our thing, because it was nuts. I mean, it was nuts. And if I would have been,
oh yeah, man.
If I would have been by myself and I'm telling this, about this sighting on the air and stuff, I don't know if I would share it. It was that crazy. It was that, it was that nuts.
Yeah, I totally feel you. And, I think that whatever that was giving you guys either a high five or a thumbs up. And, I had a small experience about 10 years ago when I was coming home from work and just glanced up, and it was dark out, and I thought I saw an airplane flying low. And it made me take a double glance at it because it started floating down like a leaf.
Right.
And I think that might have been something pretty strange. I mean, planes don't stop and start floating back the other direction, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like a leaf. You mean like back and forth?
Exactly. Like it was low to the ground, probably maybe like 200 feet in the night sky, and it was over a neighborhood here in the Bay Area.
Right.
It slowed down and started going back. I thought maybe it might be a helicopter, so I watched it for about 10, 20 seconds, and it started floating like a leaf, going in arc shapes downward towards the ground. It's pretty crazy. Wow.
Where are you calling from, John?
Oh, I'm out here in Concord in the East Bay.
Okay, there you go. If Contact is down the road for you, so next year you've got to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of my goals in the future. I'd love to get down there and get together with Fadernauts. And, yeah, man, I just want to let you know everybody who has the same consciousness and all the thoughts about, what's really going on in the world and all the subjects and everything you guys bring to the table here, Fade to Black, we really appreciate it. And I just want to give you a big thumbs up, man. I really appreciate everything.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. And I'm gonna retweet you right now.
Right on, brother.
I'll talk to you, man. Thank you, Sean.
All right, take it easy.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Jimmy, it's Mark.
Which Mark?
This is Mark Walsh.
Oh, hey, Mark. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Have you guys recovered?
Awesome interview last night with Holly.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And it was looking at everybody's reactions today, and I got a bunch of email that it was just an amazing conversation, and I thought so. But have you guys recovered?
So
have you guys recovered from contact?
Oh yeah, ready for the next one.
Yeah, just an amazing weekend. And it's what's really funny for me is I'm sitting here thinking about all the days of work last week and the weekend before that, rolling through contact, now doing the shows every night this week, and then coast on tomorrow night. Oh, I didn't mention tomorrow night is the Time Beings. Time Travel Conspiracies is going to air tomorrow night on History Channel, and then Saturday I'm over at Coast. I think it's on after Ancient Aliens, 10:00.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it's been nonstop here, and so there you go. So what's up, Mark? How you doing?
All right. Hey, I just wanted to share, my input on the crafts that we're seeing, and I missed the green one that you guys saw. We got kind of pulled away, but I have to tell you though, when we were playing the 333 bells,
right,
we definitely were having some action flying over us. You can see the ones that coming across and then they would just disappear. It was definitely a really, really active weekend. It was probably the most active weekend in all the contacts that I've been going to.
Well, where were you when you had your sightings? Were you at the amphitheater?
I was at the amphitheater. Yeah, we were playing the bells.
Right. And
and it was incredible.
What did you see? What was it?
It was just one of the white balls, the disc, whatever is kind of coming across the sky. You can really tell the difference between a craft and a plane. Once you start seeing them, because Holly and I probably seen close to 100 of these by now, and there's a distinct difference between them, the way they move, the way they're lit up. They don't have some of the extra blinking lights around them.
Right.
They're completely quiet.
Right.
And a lot of times, they'll be cruising along, and then they'll stop, and then they'll pulse, and boom, they're gone. And then they'll flash you sometimes, too. A lot of times they do that when they're pulsing out.
What do you think? Well, what do you think when that is going down? What do you think the intention is? I mean, is it to let us know that they are there? Is it something else? Or are they just on a mission? Or are they just checking out Earth? And they don't even know that we're there. What is the intention? I'm so blown away by it because of what I saw and the fact that there was 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people there for contact in the desert. We're all consciously connected, and they did a drive-by to say, "Hey, check, we got your back." Is it that?
Well, you have so many connected people there, and people that know how to do CE5s and know how to call in craft. They're going to do drive-bys, and they're going to flash and say hi. Sometimes the flashes aren't always just them acknowledging us and saying hi. Sometimes the flashes are really when they burst out. That happens when they just kind of take off. It'll make a flash, and I've seen them where they flash, it disappears, and a couple seconds later there's another flash, bright flash. The weekend just before contact, we were up in Cedarville by the Oregon border. And we had multiple sightings there, too. We had a real big one that flew over the house. When I say big, it's, when you look at the sky and the largest planet in the sky, it was bigger than that.
And
just a white ball.
Right.
And it was heading west to east, just cruising right over. And then a few minutes after that, we saw another one, and we saw a plane. So we had this for comparison. There was a plane coming over. You can see the plane. It's got the blinking red lights. You can hear the engines. And then here's this other little white ball actually heading towards the plane. But, I'm sure they were at different altitudes, but you can see them together. And then the plane kept going, and then you see the white dot, and it's coming across, just kind of like passing the plane. Then it stops. And then it flashes, and then it just fades away.
Something else equally as disturbing has settled in with me, and which is this has got to be going on all day, every day, all around the world. That's the thing. You have to, for anybody to notice, you would have to stop, look up at the sky, and stay focused, no matter where you are, right? So how much of it goes unnoticed? I mean, it's got to be 99.999999% of it is
probably.
Yeah, it's just going on. How many times have I been sitting there doing a cookout with Rita over at the house, looking down and not looking up, right?
Well, you know what? I think that's going to change now, because now you're going to want to be looking up, and you're going to start seeing more because you've made that connection.
It's spinning my head.
And the other thing, that same night when we were up in Cedarville, I started just seeing flashes, like without seeing crafts. We just started seeing these random flashes in the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought that was really interesting because, I heard two versions at Contact of what that could have been. Now, James Gillian said, that could have been some friendly hellos. But
hi, Holly.
Holly's the only in the background saying hi.
Laura said hi. She did great. But yeah.
But Corey Good and David Wilcock were talking about, the Star Wars thing that was going on when those crafts tried to leave Antarctica, which is around the same time. And
right.
So there were, some things going on in the sky. So I don't know, I can only speculate what I saw. I saw different flashes, and usually I don't see it like that. I usually see a craft and see a flash. But just to see flashes, it kind of makes you wonder. It's like, was that something that David and Corey were talking about?
Yeah, could be. Yeah, that's interesting. And I'll say this, Mark, and I mean this. Now that I've seen what I've seen, and Rita has seen what she's seen, that's it, man. Our chips are pushed into the middle of the table. Everything is open now. It could be any of that. It could be, and I can't wait to find out. Wow, what a weekend!
Awesome stuff.
Hey, Mark, thank you for calling in, my brother, and give my best to Holly. It was just an amazing conversation, and we'll be seeing you guys shortly.
Yeah, in August.
Thank you so much, Mark. Behave.
All right. You take care.
You too. Mark Walsh, everybody. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More of your phone calls after this short break. 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Do you know what's in your body soap? Well, I didn't know the answer until about 5 years ago when I looked at the label of my soap and was shocked to see all the chemicals. For my entire life, I had been assaulting the largest organ of my body, my skin, and to think my children were using it too. Well, a lot has changed since then. Today, my family and I operate Stone City Farms, where we make and sell all-natural goat milk soap using fresh goat milk from goats we raise on our farm. Our mission at Stone City Farm is to produce high-quality, all-natural goat milk soap for people who want a fresh, unrefined, natural product. At Stone City Farms, we offer scented and unscented soaps and a signature line of gift sets customizable to your needs. To see what our customers are saying, go to StoneCityFarm.com. Use the code NATURAL for a 20% discount. That's StoneCityFarm.com, code NATURAL for 20% off your order. You never know what could be hiding in your soap.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's all here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. It's Thursday night, Fadernight. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. All right, I'm going to try to do this. Here we go. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. It's Lori. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good.
Okay, turn me down.
I'm good. I was just listening to your last guest about the white little orbs and stuff. Now, I've seen those in the sky, and I've asked somebody about them, and they said that perhaps it was satellites. But I'm like, they're not satellites if there's like 3 of them in a row, right? I mean, I don't think that would be a satellite. 3 of them in a row. But the other thing I wanted to touch on with your last guest, since he brought up the Antarctic. So I was wondering what your thoughts are on the Antarctic and what has happened there, and if you think there is like a city there, or if Hitler escaped, or anything that is anything, like if you have a theory at all on the Antarctic.
Okay. Well, it's
Go.
Okay. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call, Lori. Do you want me to answer on the air? Are you going to stay with me?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'd like to listen. I want to hear what you have to say about the Antarctic because I'm very interested in that subject.
Well, the thing is, when it comes to the Antarctic, because not too many of us civilians have the opportunity to go down there and see what's actually going on. And there's a lot of reasons for it. Number 1, it's expensive. Number 2, it's cold. Number 3, to even get there, and the oceans are rowdy, and so we just don't get a chance to get down there and poke around. So then you have the conspiracy side of that they don't want us to go down there and poke around. But the Hitler side of things and the Third Reich side of things, they were definitely interested. They definitely sent a lot of expeditions down there, submarines down there, ships. They planted flags all over the place and wanted to occupy a chunk of it. That part of it is pretty trippy. And then there was let me finish real quick. And and then there were the other sightings that went on down there in the late 40s that were pretty bizarre. So we have that side of it. But if now I'm going to go to my mentality. If I was E.T. and I have been coming to Earth for a long time, and I know where things are civilized and settled, and I know where people are hanging out, I'm going to go and park myself where I can be alone and study Earth and not be bothered. And quite frankly, that would be Antarctica. There's no other place to go if you're going to be alone. You know what I mean? And that's why I think there's something to the story. And
so do you think that there is a possibility of there being like a city, like people living there? Do you think that is a possibility?
Sure, I do. Yeah, I absolutely do think that is a possibility. Lori, I am one to always say that where there is smoke, there is fire. Okay,
right.
And when you have repeats of the story that go on and go on and go on, usually there's something to it. You know, is it as extreme as the stories are? You know how urban legends amplify themselves and they grow and they propagate. But there has just been so much to the story for so many years. So could there be...
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think that it has anything... Okay, there might possibly be a city within the Antarctic. But do you think that it has anything to do with Hitler wanting just your opinion, your personal opinion?
He definitely sent a lot of resources down there. And there's a lot of things that are missing from the Third Reich that have never been recovered, whether it's in South America, which is close to Antarctica, too, as well. The southern tips of Argentina and Chile and how close that is to Cape Horn, and then the next stop would be Antarctica. Could that be part of it? Sure. Could it have been an escape plan to keep things going? Absolutely. I mean, where else would it be a safe place to go? And he certainly...
Okay, what was that guy's name? Admiral Byrd or whatever that went there,
Byrd.
Actually?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Was that his name? And what did he see? And when he came back, it's like everybody shut him down and nobody wanted him to speak. And it's like he told his story and then it was shut down.
Well, when he went down there, not only did he go and make those statements that there are things that could fly, across the globe in I forget his description, but quickly, right?
Right.
So he saw something, but why go down there with an armada, with armed troops? You know, what was that intention? So but obviously in secret. So, he could never really go public and say exactly what he went down there for, but he went down there with thousands of troops. An armada, multiple ships and planes. So, yeah, I mean, it's.
If he went down with thousands of troops, why was he the only one to come back and tell the tale?
He only told the tale once, as far as I know, too, as well. I mean, he only made, I think, one statement. I could be wrong, but I think he only said that one time. But you're an admiral, and we just came off of World War II. And so secrecy was paramount. And for him to run his mouth after that, I think was actually quite surprising. But secrecy was all about the moment back then. I mean, we just came off of a world war. everything was secret, and spies versus spies, and nuclear technology is here, and the Roswell incident had just happened, and there was lots of things going down in 1947. It wasn't just Admiral
Don't
Byrd.
you think it's a wonder that it's 2016 and nobody's been to the Antarctic and come back over and said, hey, this is what we found?
No, I'm not surprised about that at all. I'm not surprised. I mean, because it's something that they want to keep, secret. So, no, I'm not surprised about that. And the people that go down there, the people that go down there are bound by oaths, and they work for the government. There isn't anybody, Lori, you cannot, well, you probably could if you had enough money, but you cannot go down there, right? You can't. Right. I can't. So the people that are there on official government business, or they're there with the Smithsonian. Right, and they're and they're bound by those now. But this is the other part, Lori. That's just to get to the coast, okay, to the coast of Antarctica. But Antarctica is huge, and so to go inland and go across and check things out, it is the most crazy environment ever. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, and that would take a multitude of funds, and like everything that you would have to gather to even do this project. It would take so much. That would be a private thing. Like you couldn't do it in the government. Even if you could, if you had the funds, if you had the wherewithal, if you could go, the government would stop you anyway, wouldn't they?
Well, I would assume probably. But check this out. There's one funny thing for me that has surfaced over the last couple of months. And most people don't know this. I think I reported on this last month. But right now, Qantas, which is the Australian airline, Qantas has a 747, and they have a special flight that they will do for people that want to fly over the Antarctic and check it out. So,
really?
Yes. So there you go. I mean, that kind of kills all those flat earthers out there. That takes that part out of it. But
oh gosh, I'm so sick of the flat earthers. Really?
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Well, I'm not sick of it. It's fun.
Well, whatever. Yeah. That's a whole nother ballgame. But yeah, I was just wondering what your thoughts were about the Antarctic, and if there's anything in there. If you think there's a land, is there people down there? Is there a city? Like, do you think there's people down there that are living?
I would say I wouldn't be surprised, Lori. I would not be. It wouldn't be one of those things where I would be blown away. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. That could have been living there for a long, long time. And what I mean by I mean a long, long time. And I mean, look, there's one thing that is fact. Antarctica at one point in Earth's history was green. Okay? And could somebody have been living there back then? I don't know. But if there
could
was...
Could somebody be living there right now under ice?
That's what I'm trying to say. So as the changes slowly happened, they eventually, moved everything underground, and they're still living there now. And there you go. I don't know, but I would not at all be surprised. And
well, I'm freaking tripped out that we haven't gone, or somebody hasn't gone and discovered it yet.
Well,
discovered people there, or discovered Antarctica, anything. Nobody is going, or at least they're shutting it off where nobody can go.
I don't think that they are. I don't. No, I don't believe that they are. I'm just saying that to get that kind of expedition together. Now, it's not, well, first off, it'd be horribly expensive, but it's not even that.
Yeah.
You'd have to live through it, Lori, to go and traverse across Antarctica with a group of people and come back alive. All of the all of the supplies that you would take. You would have to be able to live. You would have to have shelter and everything else. I mean, how far could you really go before you'd have to turn around before you ran out of stuff? You know,
so then basically there could be a whole city there and no one would ever know.
Yeah, it's what I'm trying to say. And I wouldn't be surprised.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Thank you for the call, Lori.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate your conversation. Thank you so much. I love your show. Thank you.
You got it. Lori in Texas, everybody. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Kevin near St. Louis.
Hey, Kevin. How are you, man?
Hey, not too bad. Hey, I'm very excited, and I wanted to share this with all you guys. I'm very excited to meet Stanton Friedman here in like a week or two. He's coming to St. Louis, and I don't know, maybe I'll get to meet some Fadernauts there. What do you think?
Is that the George Norrie thing?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, very cool, man. So you're going?
Yeah, and I paid a pretty penny for some VIP tickets so I can do the whole meet and greet.
So when you go up to George, just go, hey, George, you know, I just want to say Jimmy Church says hi. You got to do it. Do it for me.
Oh, I will, of course. And I listened to your Stan Friedman interviews, and I listened to a bunch of other ones, and yeah, it's just getting me psyched to meet him. So,
you know what was really cool, Kevin, is all weekend, and I know you've probably seen the pictures on Twitter, but all weekend, Stanton hung out with the Fadernauts all weekend long, every single day. We had our shelter, right, our booth. And his was next to ours, but he was in the sun. I was like, come on, Stanton, move on down. So he just sat. Wow. He sat with us all weekend long. And I got to tell you, he got a really good dose of what the Fadernauts are. It was pretty cool. He got to.
That is insane.
Yeah, it was all weekend. And then I'll tell you something else that was pretty cool. Is the panel that I did on Saturday with everybody. Stanton slayed. When it came time for him to speak, he went nonstop, and he didn't take a breath. And at the end, the applause and everything that he had to say, and it was really cool because he was going into zones that he doesn't normally go into about government secrecy. You know, normally, people want him to talk about other stuff. And so it was an opportunity for him to just let it all hang out. And I was so proud of him. He really, really did a great job.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how his lecture is different from, all the interviews he does and stuff. And you mentioned, you said he slayed, and that reminds me that, I've been trying to watch that MUFON video he did, and it's called Slaying the Dragon.
Right.
And, that brings up another point. I was going to ask you, would you recommend, joining, the Missouri MUFON if I want to get, connected with more people around here, or what?
Yeah, I don't know who the MUFON state director is for Missouri, but I support MUFON, so I would say absolutely reach out and do that. I would join.
I did. I emailed her, and it was a lady who she's in charge of the St. Louis meetings and stuff, and I haven't heard back yet. And I know I also emailed David Marler, and haven't heard back from him yet either. So maybe I'll get lucky. But
that's right. Yeah, Marler's there in St. Louis, isn't he?
Well, I know he lives out New Mexico now, but yeah, he's from this area and stuff. So, and also I the main reason I emailed him was because this guy I work with, his mom, she saw a black triangle out here in St. Clair, Missouri, and I just, of course, I find that fascinating, and I wanted to pass that along to him. So,
right. Well, I would join MUFON out there, and one of the cool things that I used to do out here in L.A. with the L.A. MUFON was going to the meetings and just hanging out with everybody, and I'm sure that's what they do.
that's what I'm looking forward to most about the Nori event. It's just it's going to be a large crowd, and it's going to be my people, and you know, my here in my small town, there's just not a lot of people like me, so I'm I'm looking forward to meeting some like-minded folks. But
well, you know, exactly, you should do it. And when I used to go to the MUFON meetings out here, I remember the first time that I went, right? And I'm there, and I'm listening to the conversations that were going on around me, and I was like, man, these are my people. Right? I was like, it's okay. I can actually talk about this stuff, you know? And I would say join, man, and start going to the meetings and hanging out. And, you know, they always have good speakers every single month. And I'm assuming that's what they do at the Missouri MUFON, that they get together every month and have somebody come in and speak. And you just get to hang out and talk about what, you know, the things that you believe in. And I would highly recommend it, Kevin. I really would.
Yeah, I will. And also another thing I wanted to bring up, I know have you had Peter Levenda on yet? I know you're going to have him, right?
I've had Peter on probably 5 times.
Okay, I still need to listen to those interviews, but I know he's working with Tom on the second book in that Secret Machines project, and you know, something I just learned the other night that I'd never heard of before. I guess that shows my ignorance, but Solar Warden.
Right.
I guess you know about that.
Of course.
That is crazy. I didn't know about, you know, Gary McKinnon, and he's like my new hero now, and wow, like
that whole McKinnon freaks me out. And
really?
Well, yeah, because it's not the discovery. That was cool. It wasn't what he saw. That was cool as well. It wasn't how he got caught. That was pretty cool as well. It wasn't the fact that we had the United States government all the way to the White House fighting the British government on extradition. It wasn't even that. That was pretty cool too as well. All of these elements about McKinnon were just were amazing. None of that to me was the big deal. The big deal to me was all he was a UFO fan, right? Trying to get knowledge, and how he was, you know, he installed computer systems over in the UK, and he knew and wrote a little program that can go in and search for computers whose passwords were, I forget what it was. It was like admin. Right?
Yeah, I read about that.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And that was it, because nobody changes the passwords on their computers when they're installed. And you change the passwords for signing into your email or for signing on to whatever for different stuff. But the actual computer's program itself to get into the system, everybody leaves that as admin. So he had a dial-up modem over at his mom's house, a dial-up modem, dialed in and was able to access and hit these computers that used the password admin. And that's the mind-blowing thing. And what I mean, I need to drive this home. It wasn't, you know, some computer hacking crazy backdoor going in and busting through firewalls. It wasn't any of that. And that's the part of McKinnon that is fascinating to me. And that's how we got into the systems. It blows my mind. And so when you go and you access computers in such a simple way, and now you're able to do whatever you want and go and poke around, and he searches UFO, right? And that's his search word on all of these computers. And it was a simple way of doing it. And it really happened. It actually happened for the United States.
Yeah, I just can't believe I didn't know about it until this week, really.
Yeah, yeah, it's a fascinating story. And the reason why we can now step back and go, it actually happened, was because the United States government stepped in, wanted him to go to prison, claimed that he did $500,000 worth of damage to the computers, which is all BS. All he did was, just access the computers. But all it says to all of us is that it actually happened. And it's a fascinating story, and you should go and watch. I think Carrie Cassidy did a couple of interviews with him that were really good. So you should. I don't know if you've seen those, but go check those out.
I'll look those up. Oddly, his Wikipedia page doesn't really say anything about Solar Warden. It seems odd,
right?
But another thing. Actually, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought, so you speak.
That's okay. Well, you should go, just go, type in Gary McKinnon, click on videos in the Google search, and those interviews will pop up. And a couple of them are really lengthy and are really good. And he goes into complete detail, not only how he pulled it off, but what is it that he saw and how he accessed the commanders and that part of Solar Warden and that crew. Just go and check that out. And then when he describes as he got caught, I don't know if you know how he got caught. He got caught, he had control over a computer, and somebody is walking by. This is all fact. Somebody's walking by and sees the mouse going around a computer screen and clicking, right? And that's how he got caught. And they shut the computer down, and they were able to trace it back to his mom's apartment. But that's how he got caught.
Yeah. Well, after talking to you, I'll definitely look at those interviews. But I did just remember what I was going to ask you about. I think it might have even been your interview with Stanton, and he was talking about Bob Lazar, and I guess at first I was a little apprehensive because it's a fairly, established, kind of belief amongst the UFO community. But after listening to what Stanton said, and there's no denying that, that does cast some doubt. I try to be an objective person, and I've always believed the Lazar story. But after hearing Stanton, it's like, well, geez, maybe he did lie. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, but also, if you remember at the end of that particular interview with Stanton, I asked him if the door was still open on Lazar, and he said yes. He wasn't ready to close it. So
yeah, and he even said that he might have worked out at S4 and whatnot, but just the whole no proof of him at MIT. That's some pretty damning evidence.
And Caltech, I get all of that. And Kevin, before we run out of time, just let me get this in really quick about Lazar. There is a reason why he is still around. There's a reason why. If the United States would step in on his security oath and arrest him and put him in prison, that means his story is true. So they can't do that. And now, am I giving him an out on this story? I am not. But I have watched every Lazar interview that has ever been done. Every single one. I've listened to everyone. And I have tried.
Yeah, and I have a lot of respect for George Knapp, and I know he still believes it. So
and I've tried it. I've tried to get Lazar to trip up on himself, and he never has. So that's just me. So we're up against a network break here, Kevin. Go join Missouri MUFON and get back to me and let me know how it goes.
All right, Jimmy.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Be safe out there.
You too. See you.
That's what I'm talking about. 323-825-5045. This is Fade to Black. I'll be right back.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If your home has hard water and it's leaving white spots, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes. Limescale can cost hundreds of dollars a year in wasted energy and early appliance breakdown. HydroCare systems available at Wave Home Solutions prevent and remove limescale with just a simple filter change every 3 years. There are no salts, chemicals, or magnetic coils. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, just go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Hi, I'm Richard Dolan. When I'm not hosting my radio program, The Richard Dolan Show on KGRA, or writing new books on UFOs, I run a publishing company. I'm proud to say that Richard Dolan Press has published some of the most fascinating books available on UFOs and related subjects. They include Dr. Bruce Maccabee's classic analysis of the UFO cover-up, David Marler's breakthrough book on triangular UFOs, Dr. Richard Sauter's unique work on underground bases, and other classics by Grant Cameron, Chase Kletsky, and Dr. Bob Wood, not to mention intriguing works by Eve Lorgan and Laurie MacDonald that deal with truly bizarre phenomena. I'm proud to publish such high quality and original works, and there are several amazing books about to be released over the next few months. Go to richarddolanpress.com to learn more.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your humble host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night, Fader night. Open lines all night long. 323-825-5045. If you're on hold, stay right there. I will try to get everybody in. I've been trying to get to the news all night long, and I can't. I love it. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi, Jimmy. This is Danny.
Hi, Danny.
I've called you before, but I have a UFO, a flying saucer that I really saw up around Mount Shasta about 4 years ago.
What happened?
You want to hear it?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, first off, I'd like to give you some background. My dad was a fighter pilot. He flew 104s when I was a kid. So, I'm familiar with the difference between a UFO and a flying saucer, and I know all sorts of planes and stuff like that. I know what I'm looking for,
Sure.
So I always wanted to see a flying saucer, but all my life all I saw was UFO stuff I couldn't identify. So we were driving up to Weed one day about 4 years ago in the spring on a Thursday, and we were like about 7 miles from the mountain on the east side of it. And looking at the mountain, there's two peaks on Mount Shasta. One is the big peak, and then the smaller peak is Shastina.
Okay.
Well, my wife was driving, and I was in the passenger side, and I was looking up at the mountain, and I see this light out of the corner of my eye, and it comes around the back of Mount Shasta, and it comes down between Shastina and Mount Shasta, and then it shoots right around to the south and around the south side of the mountain out of sight. The whole sighting took probably about 3 or 4 seconds, and it was a flying saucer. That's what it was. It was a flying saucer, if you put classic flying saucer shape. And so I figured it was probably about, if you hold your hand out at arm's length and you took the very tip of your little finger, maybe, a quarter of an inch, half an inch. That's about how big it appeared to me. So I got a really good look at it for 2 or 3 seconds. And I go, my God, that's a flying saucer. That's what I was thinking. And then then all of a sudden my son was in the back seat. He goes, hey, I see it too, Dad. And he saw the flying saucer too. And it was just the total most amazing thing that I never expected to see it. And, quite frankly, for me, seeing it sort of scared me, because all of a sudden I thought, my God, it's real. These things are real.
Right. Yeah.
I saw it. Like you felt the other night when you were at that Contact in the Desert. It's like, my God, I saw one. But then all of a sudden it means that all this other stuff is open for
That's right. That's exactly what it means. That's 100% what it means. And and you're right. I just went through it, and what's interesting to me, because of how your description of it was, and it was Mount Shasta, and I find that interesting. There's a lot of stuff that goes down up there for sure. But the sighting that we had that started off to the west with the mountain range, that green ball, I don't want to call it an orb. It was more like it was an object, because I could see it was physical. But it when I looked at it with the night vision, it was right next to the mountain, and it was it was taking off away from the mountain and up and away. But it was there, and when I first looked at it, the very first glimpse that I had, it was below the mountain peak. It wasn't above the mountain; it was below it. And it was pretty trippy, man. And you're absolutely right. That's the first thought that you need to deal with. That's the first thought is, holy crap! Okay, this stuff is real. Not real, but like real. And you've got to get past that. I still haven't, and I've had other sightings. You know that I've had other sightings, but this was a pretty profound thing that went on this weekend. It was pretty amazing for sure. So I want to thank you for the call, and you're absolute. Did you have anything else?
No, I just want to say it's pretty scary when you realize that there's people from other planets that are visiting us. And, it's like some of the stories that are a little bit entertaining. It's like maybe these people are getting really abducted by these people.
Yep,
space aliens or whatever.
Like I was saying earlier to Mark, everything is on the table for me now, and Rita. Thank you so much for the phone call. I really appreciate it.
Jimmy.
You got it.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, Ziggy.
Hey, Ziggy. How are you, brother?
I'm doing great, brother. I want to shift gears. I want to talk about Jimmy Church and Fade to Black.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. I just want to tell everybody out there that all your sponsors and everything y'all advertise, if you don't believe in it, I don't think you advertise it. Because Life Change Tea, that stuff is great. I talked to you before I bought it, and then you convinced me. I got it, and then I guess I've been on about a month now. Lost about 11 pounds. My sugar's down. Feel great. But just like the Studio One's Studio Dome speaker that I talked to you about before I bought it, you told me about it, I bought it. But everything you sell, you stand behind, and you can believe when Jimmy Church says it, it's true.
Ziggy, thank you for that, man. And I obviously I didn't know this call was coming in and things, but I really do appreciate that, because we're very picky who we bring on to partner with us on this show. Very, very picky about that, and I'm just thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I realize that, and then even the products y'all got, like the T-shirts, the highest quality T-shirts. Y'all just a class show. I can't say that about other shows I listen to, or you hear people advertise stuff on television. They don't believe what they sell. All out there making a buck. But if you hear it on Jimmy Church Fade to Black, you can bank it.
Ziggy, thank you so much. Now that I have you on, let me throw this back at you. You've heard me now talk about what Rita and I went through, and hundreds of other people out of contact in the desert this weekend. You've heard me, but have you seen anything in the skies that reminded you of what we've been reporting all week?
Well, I've had back in the 70s. It was along the time that the two fishermen got abducted in Pascagoula Bay. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. People made fun of that. Do you remember that?
They never have been able to debunk them, though. But all about the same time, I was just out of high school, and I drove over to New Orleans East, which is about a 25-mile drive, pick up a girlfriend from work, and pulled into a parking lot of a big shopping center. And I got out of the car, and everybody was looking up. They were just standing there looking up. And I can remember like it was yesterday, and I reported it. The MUFON's got it in their data bank. But there was a cloud, and it was pulsating. It was just like something inside the cloud pulsating. And everybody, they weren't talking to one another. They were just looking at it. And it just kept blinking on and off. You could tell something was inside the cloud, and it was like a smoke or a mist rolling out around it, like it was covered. And I guess it was maybe, I don't know how long it was, but all of a sudden something shot out like a Roman candle. I describe it like a Roman candle shooting out, and it made a big arc across the city. And the next thing you know, it blipped out. Everybody there just put their head down and went about what they were doing. Nobody said a thing to each other. And it wasn't reported on television, it wasn't reported on news, radio, or anything. It was just a very weird thing. And since then, I've been real conscious about looking up.
That's an interesting sighting too, as well. What do you think it was? I mean, the obvious question is us or them. What did you walk away with?
It had to be them because it surely wasn't me.
How long did this event last, Ziggy?
Man, I don't know. It felt like it lasted forever, but it was just like it was locked in time. Everybody was just fixated. You could see everybody looking up, and that's what got me to look up at it. But I'd say maybe 2 to 3 minutes. But when it shot the thing out like a Roman candle, came out the top of it and just went across the city like a bottle rocket or a Roman candle,
right,
or whatever. And as soon as it did that, it was gone. Now, I've been looking on the internet and everything, and then that time period was the same time period that they had the sightings in Pascagoula, and it was real big in Ocean Springs.
Right.
And all the Florida stuff. It was that whole time period back there. They had a lot of it. And then it just, kind of faded out. But it was very strange. It changed me, It made me believe.
Yeah, it's funny how it does that, because although with the sightings that I've had over the years, and those were singular experiences and they were great and so forth. But this thing at Contact in the Desert, for Rita and I to see what we saw, it was pretty life-changing. I mean, look, the sighting that we had over the valley, that orb that came down and what I thought landed in downtown Van Nuys. Okay.
Drive.
Yeah, it could have been anything. I don't know. It was a white orb that came down to downtown. Okay, all right, cool. Great sighting. The black triangle that I photographed back in 1995, 96. Interesting. It stopped, and then it was in the middle of the day, and then shot up past the clouds and went out into the atmosphere. Saw that. That could have been us. It could have been some crazy experimental aircraft. Could have been Aurora. Could have been a black triangle. Could have been ET. I saw that. The swirling silver thing that I saw over the Honda dealership with all of those witnesses, that could have been a satellite being positioned, and it just happened to be the right time in the middle of the day, and it was a clear blue sky, and it could have been that. Could have been ET. But these sightings at contact in the desert, that green orb that took, 5 minutes to just continually move up and then go out into the stars, that's a mind-blowing thing to see. And it lasted for so long that I was able to start to digest what I was really looking at. This was a glowing green ball that was solid, and it went from Earth up into the atmosphere and disappeared. I can't explain that. That was not, I can't explain that away. I just can't. And the one that was above us, Ziggy, that I thought was a planet. And what was strange for me was I just stepped up into the crowd, tilted my head up, saw this star, planet. It looked like Mars to me, way up in the atmosphere, and to have it move across the sky and then disappear as I looked at it, that's a life-changing thing. I cannot explain it. So,
well, I'm sure a lot of it is us, because if you remember late in the 60s and maybe early 70s, where all the things in South America, in the pictures they took the F-117s. Okay, and if you look at F-117 horizontally, it looks like a flying saucer.
Yeah, it looks like a black triangle. There's no doubt about that. And a lot of the sightings that did happen around that time with black triangles flying around could have been that. I totally agree with you. So
I think a lot of it is, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and the government doesn't tell you, our stealth technology, that they didn't pick anything up on radar and stuff like that yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure they put the stuff in to see if the radar can pick it up, and if the public reports it, I'm sure they keep a database on it. But, it's, who knows? I hope I live long enough to find out. We make contact. That's what
Hey, Ziggy, we're getting close, my brother, and thank you for the phone call tonight.
One time, something I want to bring up, and if any conspiracy people out there want to research it, I got a pet peeve. It's the DNA, Ancestry.com, and all those things. You send in for a DNA test. I want to know what happens to the DNA results. Do they sell them to the government? Do they sell them to insurance companies? Once your DNA is in that database, there's no telling what they'll do with it. They could, it just drives me crazy to have people pay to have their DNA checked, and then, there's no way to control it once you send it in.
Yep.
I'm sure there's a database out there somewhere that's got us all collected so they could, do whatever they got to do to, for their world order stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Ziggy, and thank you for the phone call. I actually brought that up last week on the show when I had said, what's up with that DNA database, man? Do they sell it? Do they share that information? If anybody has any knowledge about that, shoot me an email to jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. What is Ancestry or any of those DNA companies? They may give you your information, but it stays there. Do they, what happens with all of that data? Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. You're live.
Hello?
Yeah, you're live right now.
All right, Jimmy, thank you for taking my call. I have I believe I have an explanation for the sightings that you guys experienced at Contact last week.
Okay, and what's your idea?
You've posted a photograph of the Hudson Valley UFO. You might look at it once again and see there's blue and green orbs around it. Well, I experienced similar craft in 2006 in Arizona. And, well, I believe that's the same craft that's causing all the orbs where you're at in Southern California.
It's possible. It's possible. You know, and I know that I sound like I'm repeating myself, but I have no idea. I don't. The one thing that I feel really strange about, and by the way, what's your name?
My name is Max Castillo.
Okay, thank you, Max. The one thing that I am definitely convinced that as I do this show right now from the bunker, that up on the surface of the earth right now, there is action going on right now that we don't see. We just don't see it. And that's what's really, 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 really nutty to me, because the way that we saw it and how we saw it, and there were things that I didn't see with the naked eye, and I'm looking at it in night vision and watching this crazy stuff going on. That is not. It's not. It's just not us. It's not satellites. And if it is us and that is our technology, then I'm going to tell you right now, that is even more. I would rather have it be ET. I would, because if we have that technology and we don't know about it, then there is something really sinister going on, and that's my belief.
Hey, Jimmy, I wanted to explain something. I also seen that craft that has been witnessed in the United States with the orbs around them, and I saw one of the red orbs shoot up to the sky like a bat out of hell. And I was only about a quarter mile away from this craft. I was on Highway 93 on my motorcycle, and I only got to hang around for 3 or 4 minutes, but I experienced high strangeness. But I believe that these crafts are tapping into fresh water, and the aquifers that are in the high desert. And also, if you look into the accounts in the Hudson Valley incidents, there was an account where there was one of these crafts lowering a beam of light into a freshwater lake.
Yep.
And I have an idea that that's what's going on. They're tapping into the fresh water on the Colorado River, where most of these sightings of this craft has been seen since the 1997s. This is where I believe that it's causing all the activity where you're at.
So many sightings over oceans, rivers, next to lakes, and going back all the way to the 1890s when there was a couple of reports of a couple of craft that were dropping hoses into the water. Yeah. So, there you go. I think you're onto something, Max.
All right, Jimmy, thank you for taking my call. One of these days I'll call you about the experience I encountered. It was only about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, and I saw these orbs rotating in a counterclockwise, red, big as heck, about the size of a 2-story house. And the craft itself was cloaked. And the perimeter area where these orbs circle this craft, it's concave, and it was a totally awesome experience for me. But maybe I'll talk to you about that some other time.
You got it, Max. Thank you so much for the phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Oh, I just dropped the phone call. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Yeah, I agree with Max. So many sightings, not only in concentrated areas, but there just seems to be water connected. Now, if you're ET, look, how many planets in our solar system have water, right? Well, okay, a little bit on Mars. But, it's just us. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy, it's Rich from New Jersey. How are you tonight?
Hey, Rich, how are you?
Good, good. I had a question about Malibu Base for you.
What's that?
Did you ever get to talk to Dr. Robert Ballard?
No.
Titanic.
Oh, no, I never did talk to him.
He's going to be off the coast there in July. He's doing a study in the Channel Islands.
Okay.
And right now he's up around Portland, I think, doing a survey about methane gas coming up off the ocean floor.
Okay, interesting. He's going to be here in July.
Yep.
I have his contact. I have his contact info. Interesting. We can reach out to him. Not a problem.
Yeah, that would be a great thing because he's got the technology. He's got the boat. He's the guy to go out there.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. He definitely has the technology. But, yeah, we can reach out to him. Not a problem.
Yeah.
So what else is going on? Real quick before we hit the commercial break.
Just been enjoying your show. I'm sorry I didn't get out to your contact in the desert there. It sounded like a great time. You're doing a great job with this.
It couldn't have been a more perfect weekend. But next year, Rich, you got to make it out to the West Coast.
Yeah, Roswell will be nice, too.
Yeah, we're going to be there. And I can't believe it, 3 weeks we're going to be in Roswell.
That'll be nice, yeah. Good time.
The motherland. Thank you for
Georgie will be there?
No, but if you go, just go to our website, click on Roswell Festival, and they have a list of guest speakers, and you can click on the events, and they have a schedule posted. We'll be broadcasting Friday night from the museum from 8 until 11.
Yep, that'll be great.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much,
You
Rich.
take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's what I'm talking about. Check this out really quick. I got to get some of this stuff in really quick before the break. The Anonymous Hacking Collective is ramping up cyber attacks against stock exchanges and financial institutions across the group as part of a phase 3 of its Operation Icarus campaign, currently dubbed Project Mayhem. The previous phase, launched in May, was originally billed as a month-long attack against central banks that used distributed denial-of-service techniques to overwhelm servers. But in the most recent deployment, today, the group took down the official website of, are you sitting down? The Bilderberg Group, the highly secretive conference. Yeah, right? The political elite. The elitists, right? They did. The conference started today and is running through the 12th of June. As of showtime tonight, the Bilderberg website remains offline. Other targets today included the Romanian Stock Exchange and the Athens Stock Exchange Group. You go, Anonymous. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. It's Thursday night. It's Fader Night. It's open lines. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. I'll be right back.
And you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hey, I'll make you a deal. Give me 60 seconds, and I'll give you directions to the Fountain of Youth. Okay, I'm joking. Well, kind of joking. No fountains, but youth, I got. Nature's Youth, and their premier anti-aging product, Nature's Youth RSF. With your sensible diet and exercise plan, Nature's Youth RSF can help you look and feel better. RSF is an all-natural amino acid supplement that supports your body to naturally increase HGH levels without any synthetic hormones. And elevated HGH levels can contribute to increased energy, improved libido, reduced body fat, and improved exercise capacity. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to look and feel younger? Visit the newly designed website at naturesyouth.com or call 800-333-6923. That's 800-333-6923, and like them on Facebook, and you'll be included in contest and exclusive offers. What a deal. Oh, speaking of deals, my time's about up. 800-333-6923 or naturesyouth.com. Who needs a fountain anyway? Call today.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Teppy.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Wow, I lost track of what I was doing in here, looking at Jose's pictures. Dude. This picture of Rita and I, the black and white one, absolutely incredible. Jose. And did you guys see? I love this woman. Look at us. That's what I'm talking about. Did you guys see? Follow us on Twitter right now, at JChurchRadio. Use hashtag F2B. Are you guys looking at this picture that Jose took of out there in the desert of the stars? Look at that. That's incredible. How do you do that? I can't do that. You are an artiste, Jose. Absolutely incredible pick, man. All right. Let's 323-825-5045. If you're on hold, stay right there. Let's just go straight back to the phones. Hey, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hey, Jimmy?
Yes, you're live.
Hey, this is Kyle from Pennsylvania.
Hey, Kyle from Pennsylvania.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. I need to tell you something really quick. You know, you were talking a minute ago about if we had that kind of technology that would be diabolical.
Well, what I mean, I did say that. What I mean by that is, to me, we're not supposed to have that, right? And, you know, we talk about the conspiracies and black projects and SAPs and USAPs and what's going on in the military. And, okay, I get that. But that kind of technology, if we really, really have that and we don't know about it and they're not sharing that technology, that's what I mean. That is something totally sinister going on. I think that would be bigger than the ET story, certainly.
Let me tell you a really quick story.
Go, Kyle. Fly a mission. Drop a bomb. Go.
And this is all hearsay. I have nothing to back it up. I have no proof. It wouldn't hold up in court. I have a friend that used to work for the military. When he got out, I'm not even going to tell you what branch it was. When he got out of the military, he went to work for a private contractor in Nevada. I asked him, we were having a couple of beers one night, I said, the private contractor you work for in Nevada, that wouldn't happen to be near Area 51, would it? And he said, I can't say anything about that. I said, okay. The setup they had was him and a group of people lived in a hotel. Every morning, a bus would come and pick them up from the hotel, take them to the facility, and they would work at the facility. Each project had it was a major project, but each different group had separate sections they worked on, and they weren't allowed to talk to the other groups about what section they were working on. Okay?
Gotcha.
We were talking, and I said, okay, what was your section? And he said, let me ask you a question. He said, imagine if you had some type of craft that you could sit in Los Angeles. You could program New York's coordinate center, press a button, New York would actually fold over to Los Angeles and then fold back to New York, and you would be in New York. And I said, do you mean like teleportation? He said, no, it's not teleportation. You actually move. You just move very, very, very quickly. And I said, dude, that would be incredible. I said, that would be, you could be like in Los Angeles and get to New York instantly. He said, you're not thinking big enough. I said, okay, you could be in Los Angeles and you could go to Moscow instantly. He said, you're not thinking big enough. I said, okay, you could be in Los Angeles and you could go to the moon instantly.
Right.
You're still not thinking big enough. This guy is a nuts and bolts person. He believes in what he can see, feel, touch, and taste. He is an atheist. He doesn't believe in anything spiritual. This is one of the most grounded, logical people I know. And according to him, he was working on a project like that for a private contractor in maybe the late 80s, early 90s in Nevada, which may or may not have been near Area 51, he wouldn't say. This is not a person that's prone to flights of fancy. He is a very, like I said, grounded and logical person. And he said that was the project they were working on. Now, if you had a project like that and you could actually put that in a craft, that would give you the ability to fly and suddenly disappear.
Exactly.
You would actually disappear.
You would disappear.
You would
right.
From A to point B. And I'm sitting there saying, because you were talking about the orb just disappearing, and I was like, you know, that sounds like what he was telling me about, that it would just vanish and then, you know, reappear wherever it wanted to and then reappear back.
Did he take it? Well, okay, I don't want to interrupt, but did he, but I am, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Did he mention anything about technology, you know, how this was happening?
Well, I guess I forgot. The whole thing started out, the first place was, we were talking about flying saucers. And I said, I would love to see a flying saucer. And I said, I want a daytime sighting. I want to see it in the daytime. I want to see the sun glinting off the metallic surface. I want to, you know, I don't want to be in question. I want to see it. And he said, well, they're out there. And I said, well, how do you know? And then he started telling me his story.
Go ahead. Don't let me interrupt. Don't let me interrupt. What was his job? Did he tell you?
He wouldn't. He said he worked for a private contractor. That's as far as he would go.
Okay.
Now, I know he worked in he had something to do with design and building with aircraft when he was in the military. And he also mentioned something about a difficulty having pilots, anybody that could fly a craft like that, because they would have to be the best of the best. They would have to be elite, and not even test pilots would be, it would have to be a certain breed of test pilot that could actually pilot a craft like that because of what it would do to you. And like I said, this guy doesn't exaggerate.
Well, you said
tell crazy stories.
Right, Kyle. You started to say that he started to tell you his story. What was it that he relayed?
Well, he was talking about having, being there in in the hotel, and they would go every day and not, have any contact with the other people. And I don't know how many months he worked for them. It might have been, it wasn't years, I know, but I don't know how many months he worked for them. But he worked until the project was done, then everybody was released. They had to sign little disclosure papers, and then he went back to civilian work. And like I said, he was very limited on what he could tell me because of the papers that he signed. But he made it quite clear that our technology that we have is quite more advanced than what we think it is.
Right.
And that, like I said, this whole conversation didn't start until I said something about flying saucers. And he expressed his complete belief that there are flying saucers, with no question. And like I said, this guy doesn't believe in anything. He's very grounded, very straightforward guy. And for him to tell me that, I'm sitting there the whole time with my mouth hanging open like, holy crap.
Yeah, totally. I would have been doing the same thing.
Because it's just like, a guy that believes in everything, a different story, but not this guy.
Well, did you, have you ever seen anything strange in the sky that you can't explain?
Well, when I was a little kid, we had a UFO flapping in North Carolina, and a bunch of us went out to watch it to look to see if we saw a UFO because they were seeing them every night. And the night before we went out, there had been a church bus in High Point, North Carolina, that the people had actually gotten off the bus and actually saw something that night, and it was like 25 kids plus the adults, and they all saw it.
Oh, right on.
So we go out, and I'm like 10, 12 years old. And, back then, you could go out and do stuff like that. You didn't worry.
Right.
We lived in a little neighborhood, everything's fine. So we get a telescope, and we go up, and we put the telescope up in the middle of a field, and we're sitting there looking around, and all of a sudden this light comes across the fields where we're at, and it's flashing orange and white, orange and white, orange and white. And we're looking at it, orange isn't the normal color of airplane lights, is it? And I'm like, no, that's not the normal color of airplane lights. I don't know what that is. And then it stopped, just dead stopped in the air. Then it started moving towards us. And there was about, 3 or 4 of us. We were like 10, 12 years old. And we did what any 10 or 12-year-old kid would do faced in that situation. We ran. And we ran all the way across the field, through the woods, and back to his house. Left the telescope. And we were freaking out. So his mother was like, okay, well, call the police. So we actually called the police and reported a UFO. And he gave us a number to call. I don't know who it was because, like I said, we were little, and she was doing the calling, just like, okay, this is what they saw. And I swear to God, she called whoever it was and reported it, and they told her that there were weather balloons in the area. Swear to God, they said weather balloons. Because she hangs up the phone, looked at us, and goes, they said it was a weather balloon. And we're like, it's nighttime. It was glowing. It was moving towards us. It's not a weather balloon. She goes, that's what they said. And that was it.
Yeah.
But that was...
I would love somebody to try to tell me that what Rita and I and everybody else at Contact saw was weather balloons.
I so want night vision goggles now.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going down.
We're rural, and we've got a big sky. I mean, we've got a big sky. And you can go out there in the backyard and look up, and you can see, almost horizon. And I bet you, if I got some night sight goggles, I could do really well out there.
Are you still in touch with this gentleman that you were talking about?
Oh yeah.
Why don't you get him to call into the show?
Actually, I might be able to rig that. I don't know, because one of the points that we had in common when we first started talking was I mentioned Coast to Coast and listening to it back in the late 90s. He said, oh, yeah, I used to listen all the time. And I was like, really? Because that sounds nothing like you. And he goes, yeah. He said, he used to drive a long-distance truck for a while. and he would listen to it. And so we started talking about, that show, and I think that may be exactly what got us around to flying saucers and got us into this conversation in the first place.
Yeah, totally. Well, you should, see if you can get him on with me.
I will float the idea by him. I don't know how open he would be to it, but I'll see.
And I'll get something out of him.
Yeah. I'll float it by him. I tell you what, I will talk to him, and I will shoot you a message on Facebook if I get any kind of definite from him.
That would be so cool, Kyle. Seriously, I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, because like I said, when he's telling me this stuff, and I'm sitting there with my mouth hanging open, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Because this is not, he doesn't believe in anything. But flying saucers, not a problem. He believes completely there's alien life out there.
Yeah, there was a couple of years ago, a friend of mine was telling me that he was over at I can't say too much about this, but I don't want to identify what actually was going on. But there was a friend of his that was I can't say too much, but he was over at his house, and this guy was retired, and I think he was around 75, around that age, but he was retired from JPL and was selling his house and moving out of town, and so they were sitting down and having a little goodbye conversation, right? And the subject of UFOs came up, and this guy started disclosing to him and just saying, that ET was here and that they have known it for a long time. Well, anyway, I said, man, are you still in touch with him? Can you get him on the show? And he said, I think I can. And it just kind of fell apart after that. I've been trying to get this guy on the show for a long time, and I just want to do it before it's too late. It's a whole nother thing when you witness something, but it's something else when you talk to people on the inside. And I'm still working on this. So I would like to talk to him. So get him on the show for us, Kyle, and you'll get another free shirt.
Okay, two quick things before I know you got to let me go, but two quick things. One, I want to ask you a question about Giorgio.
Yeah.
Is he always that on?
What do you mean?
Because whenever you see him on television, he is telling you stuff, and he sounds like he is just so excited about what he's talking about.
He's a
He's on like that all the time.
He's a very, very, very cool guy with his feet on the ground, and I'm so
excited when he's telling.
Yeah, I've got great respect for Giorgio. I really do.
Yeah,
and
I love to hear him talk. I love to hear him talk. I mean, it's great because he acts like he's so you can feel the passion when he's talking about what he's talking about.
Yeah,
and it's just like, wow.
Yeah, and
I just wanted to be like that all the time.
Well, Rita and I had the opportunity to sit with him for about an hour this past weekend for dinner, right? And sitting and talking to him and his wife, Crix, is the bomb, by the way. She's really cool. And so we sat and talked for about an hour, and we talked about everything except ancient aliens and UFOs. We talked about life. We talked about food, whatever. And I got to tell you, Giorgio is one of the coolest guys ever. I mean, that is just a cool guy, man. He's just like what you think he is. Okay, he really is. He's all of that. And but I'm going to say this too. Also, I'm going to defend him. We were going to have him on the show Friday night, right? And he shows up late. We wrapped the show, and he texts me, "Okay, man, we're on our way. Here we come." And he gets down and he finds out the show was over, and he was upset. He was, and all of the Fadernauts that were there. Hey, Les, how you doing? Les is with us, Kyle, and Giorgio going, no, I go, Giorgio, it's all right. No, it's not all right, man. I'm here for the Fadernauts, and he was so angry. And no, I'm here for the Fadernauts, and he ended up hanging out with us for about 45 minutes after the show. And he was truly upset, man. He wanted to come down and hang out with everybody. And so he ended up hanging out anyway, but he missed the show. And to see how upset he was because he couldn't hang out with the Fadernauts on the show was it was really, really cool. He was pissed off, and it was only because he wanted to hang out with the Fadernauts, So
yeah.
Hey, Kyle.
Tomorrow night.
Yes.
Tomorrow night. History Channel, right?
Yep, tomorrow night, History Channel. It's after Ancient Aliens, and it's called Time Beings, Extreme Stories, Extreme Time Travel Conspiracies. That's what it's called.
Okay, I will be there.
Yeah, I haven't seen the show. We shot it last fall, and there you go. So I haven't seen it yet, but I know that the dedication that the network put into this, so I can only say that I'm hoping it's going to be as great as it should be, and so everybody enjoy it, and then let me know what you think.
Okay, tomorrow night, 10 o'clock, History Channel, right?
You got it.
Okay.
Thank you, Kyle.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Les, what's up?
Not a mucho, my man. I am home safe and decompressing from that amazing weekend we had last weekend.
Yep, I'm sure you are. We still are, too, as well. When did you get back?
I got back Monday, 12:45 Eastern on Tuesday.
12:45 p.m. A.M.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
Yeah, I took off around 2 Pacific on Monday, got home 12:45 a.m. Eastern on Tuesday.
Ouch.
Yeah, but I was thinking about it, and I was talking to several, of the people that were there this weekend. Think about it. We think it's a chore now. Think about 100 years ago. Horse and wagon.
That's all I got to say to that.
Yeah.
Every time I go across the mountains here and into the valley, right, which it takes about a half hour, 45 minutes to get through the pass. And before roads, before anything, and I can only imagine you and your wife and your kids in a covered wagon trying to cross that. Oh my goodness. I could not imagine. I couldn't imagine.
Most of those peaks still have snow on them, Jimmy. I flew over them. So, it's not an easy thing to do. So, as much as we complain about how travel is right now, or, how every time I go through the checkout, I get bomb checked and basically molested, it's still not a chore compared to what they had to do 100 years ago.
Are you looking at these pictures Jose is posting right now?
Yes, I have seen some of them. Aren't they amazing?
Are you looking at this one with Brad Olson? Look at this picture with Brad Olson. How does Jose take these pictures?
Well, he has a really good camera, a really good eye, and he's just an amazing talent at what he does.
I can't. I mean, I can't. How do you take a picture like? Look at this picture of Brad. It's just incredible. I mean, you have to have the talent to pull the trigger right at the right time. I mean,
that's right.
If I had Jose's camera, I couldn't do this.
Exactly. And we see that's Jose's skill set. So Jose knows how. And if you talk to him, he would know exactly what every setting on that camera would be. He's amazing at it.
Yeah,
both years he's been there.
This picture of me and Clyde Lewis. Wow. I mean, it's just like he captures a moment in time. The picture of Rita and I, the black and white one.
Oh, my God. That's like one of my favorite pictures, actually. That's really good.
Look at this picture of Travis Walton. Oh, man. Jose, dude. Wow.
Jose is the man.
Wow. How does he do that?
The colors just pop out, don't they?
Well, in this picture, Travis is looking at me, right? I'm talking and look at that, man. That's a moment in time. That is an amazing picture. Wow.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm looking at the Brad Olson
that Brad Olson, that Brad Olson pic is stunning. That might
it is.
That might be the best picture of the weekend. Look at that.
It might be.
I mean, serious.
Wow.
Yeah,
and now we're, dude. Wow. Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, all these. I'm getting caught up in looking at the pictures.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the pictures instead of yapping.
Gabriel says, and Photoshop less.
I see that right here. Yeah, what a great weekend. Now, I have to ask you, I don't think I've asked you yet. Did you see, were you lucky enough to see any of the action that was going on in the skies at Contact?
No, I did not. But,
Was it crazy how everybody there, doesn't matter who, was going, man, did you see the UFOs last night? Did you see there were so many witnesses.
The first house we were at, the first party we went to at Eric's house, I was sitting off by the pool and I saw something, but when you see it by yourself and when you're not with other people, your mind, your intelligent mind tells you no, it can't be what you think it is.
Right.
It's when you're with people like you and Rita were, when you have multiple witnesses, when you're seeing it through night vision, that, Rita had never really seen anything before that night that she could definitely say was a UFO. The shock on her face when she walked into the Fader house.
Yeah.
Priceless.
Look at this picture of Brian Forrester and Steve Murillo that Jose took. Look at this one. He just
Steve looking right at the camera.
Yeah. Look, how does Jose do this? If you want to see the pictures that we're talking about, just go to follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio and hashtag F2B. I'm sure that Jose is going to start sending me some files here shortly of these, but man alive. Oh, wow.
He's done some work, hasn't he?
Thank you, Les, for the weekend. Thank you for getting the Fadernauts together. Thank you to everybody, Cortana and Dave and Dan and Gabriel and Gigi and Blair, Karen, of course, Nancy. I'm leaving 50 other people off of this list, but
and the Fadernauts are the most amazing people you can ever meet.
And
they are.
And with that, we end another week here on Fade to Black. Hey, Les, thank you for everything, my brother. Get us out of here.
Yes, sir. Special thanks to Jon Rappoport, to all the first-time callers and Fadernauts who phoned home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Camarion. Special thanks to LJ3, Renee, Jonas, Mark. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Brother Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fadey by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro by Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, syndicated on KGRA. And with that, for the week, Jimmy and I are out of here.
Thank you so much, Les. Glad you made it home safe.
Good night.
This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. Thank you, Jon Rappoport. His website is nomorefakenews.com. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, don't miss the special Time Beings on History Channel. Saturday night, I'm over at Coast to Coast with Melinda Leslie and David Sereda. I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.